Hello again and welcome to my channel. Today I've got a little project that a friend of mine has asked me to make him some finials, basically, for want of a better word, to go on a Sissy bar he's making for his motorbike. So we'll get on and do this, and you'll see how this progresses. It's a bit tricky because they're quite small and they need to be fairly well polished at the end of it. So follow the frames and you'll see how these are made. Okay? Well, the first part of this job is just to turn a step so that the finials can be located in the end of the tube, which is the tube that my friend is going to be making the Sissy bar out of. So I'm using a collet chuck on the lathe here so that it keeps everything nice and central, so that everything will be nice and all on the same axis. So the steel's a bit rusty, but it doesn't really matter. I'll soon clean that off. It doesn't have to be too accurate on this step because it's just going to be located in the tube. Here you can see I've ground up the end of a piece of high-speed steel. So I can just form the radius on it, and I can plunge that into the steel just so that I can form the waistline on the finial. I've speeded it up a little bit, but I've had to put a bit of pressure on it. It vibrates a little, but and then once I get into the depth I need, and then I'll just back off a little bit, backwards and forwards, just to elongate it a little bit. So here we have a little bit more complex procedure. I've turned the tool post at 20 degrees. So that I can then plunge into the what is going to be the top end of the finial. So I can turn it to a taper. I can't go all the way to the point, obviously, because otherwise it'll just fall out of the chuck. But so anyway, I'll just push this through. As I say, I've turned the cross slide tool post just so that I can plunge in to about 20 degrees. And we'll form the shape of the cone on the top of the finial. So it's a process. I've speeded up a little bit because just makes it a little bit more bearable, and you're not going to get bored watching me wind it in, because I have to feed it in by hand. I can't do anything automatic on the lathe at this stage, so it's all hand fed. So we'll just keep going with this until I get to a decent size so I can then part it off. So here I'm parting off the single finial. I've left about 6 or 7 millimeter on the end so that I can turn it round and reshape the other end. You'll see that in the next frame anyway, but it's just so that I could machine from this side, and then I'll just part that off, and then we'll carry on with the next stage. Well, here we are. We're getting close to the end now. So I've put the 3-jaw chuck back on the lathe because I'm only holding on the 10 millimeter that is the stepped end of the finial. So I've turned the tool post 20 degrees the other way now, so that I can actually put on the proper cone shape on the end, a taper pointed end. So I'll just machine this bit off just so that it'll blend in with what I've done from the other end in the previous process. So I'll just clean these off, and then the last little bit, last sort of 4 or 5 millimeter on the end, I'll just radius that off with a file, and that will just keep it nice and neat. So yeah, that's coming on quite nicely. Once I've done that, you'll see that I'll turn the tool post back round to 0, so that it's ready for the next time when I want to use the tool post, the cross slide in a parallel direction. So you know, it's not too bad. It's a bit of a long process once again, but I hope you're not getting too bored with this. But as I say, I've speeded everything up a little bit so that it's not too monotonous. The only trouble with doing jobs like this, when they're bespoke, everything is takes a little bit longer. So it's, you know, everything is well, how can I put it? Not laborious, but it's quite time consuming. So, but we're getting there, and it's getting close to the end, and then I can speed it up and polish everything up with some emery cloth, then some polishing paper, wet and dry, and then some crocus paper, just to give it a nice finish. I think it's going to be painted anyway, either that or chrome plated, so it should look quite nice when it's done. So we're nearly finished now anyway, so, and then you'll see the finished item. So here we have the finished 3 items, nicely polished up. They're not exactly the same because they are bespoke, so it's very difficult to get them all exactly the same when they're handmade. Well, there you go. That went quite well. They look quite nice actually, so hope you enjoyed the video. Look out for more videos in the future, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe. Okay, thanks very much. See you in the next one. Bye.